Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another House of the Dragon review. So this is my review and breakdown of episode 2. Episode 1 ended in a really pretty shocking way. I think the fan base in general were just really mixed on the ending. Like, for me personally, I thought it was fine. I really didn't think it needed to be that much worse, but a lot of other people thought that, they never did the books justice and all of that. And, all of that, whatever, that's in the past. I'm looking forward to the future here and what the story is actually going to be focused on. And this episode focuses on the aftermath of that event. And you look at both sides, Team Black and Team Green, just how they're dealing with all of this here. And, what do they do next? And the ending here was I'm honestly very happy with where it ended. I was concerned that there was going to be a cliffhanger for a second just because of the shot on one of the characters, but no, we actually saw the scene fully play out, and now I'm so excited for episode 3. So before going any further, I do have to warn you that this will contain spoilers for episode 2 of House of the Dragon, so definitely be aware of that. And also make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my House of the Dragon content like this. I didn't do a lot of House of the Dragon content last week. I did like 3 videos or something like that, 2 or 3 videos, but I will be doing a lot more this week. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. And also, yeah, so definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my House of the Dragon content like this. This episode starts with the anger and frustration of I guess King's Landing and everyone inside King's Landing. Now, there were a lot of things that happened in here with Otto High Tower that I was not expecting. A lot of this stuff was set up in the first episode, and a lot of this is just stuff that happens in the books, and I kind of expected it to play out throughout the season a little bit more. Like maybe it happens in episode 4 or 5, like certain moments, but it all happened here, and it makes sense just based off of the story arc. But man, they rushed through that pretty fast. There's still a lot more story to tell, but I'm really interested in where all of this is going to go here, and I really want to see certain people in certain positions in certain places and just see how this story is crafted here, because we have Otto High Tower, who I believe is now going to the High Gardens, but yeah, we'll talk about that once we actually get there. Everyone in King's Landing is trying to figure out who did this, right? The gates of King's Landing have now been shut, and Queen Alicent is absolutely destroyed over the death of, I guess, her grandson, right? And Alicent believes the gods have punished her, and that's a sort of a whole theme in this episode as well. She feels so just like she has sinned and all of that because of this new thing that she has with Sir Criston Cole. And I will say, in terms of all of that, she really criticized, I would say, Rhaenyra in season 1 for sort of the same thing. So yeah, it's kind of funny looking back at it now. But yeah, King Aegon though, man, first of all, I want to say he's amazing. The actor playing him is just incredible, but he is so just pissed off, and his rant was epic. And I found a lot of this really amazing because it felt like after, the Viserys died, whoever was going to be king next, like King Aegon II, it kind of felt like to me that person wasn't going to be really in the story at all. It felt like if they had him in any scenes, it was going to be really like a placeholder, and it just, the story wouldn't revolve around him so much, just based off of the story of season 1. But I should have known, like Game of Thrones, if you look at that story there, the main characters change all the time, right? So the main characters here in season 2, King Aegon's a really big character here in the show, and he's really, I would say, the star of this episode. Just really incredible. He's upset and he wants revenge, right? And they did find one of the men that did it. Alicent is having a hard time watching her son go through this, but what I will say is it felt like, a lot of the pain that she went through is almost just like she was feeling the pain of the fact that she had sinned, right? And I'm guessing it's related to Sir Criston Cole, and maybe she feels guilty because Sir Criston Cole wasn't on duty, and maybe he could have actually prevented that. But, she's really focused on a lot of that. She's focused on that aspect to it, and obviously Queen Helena, she saw that as well, so she can, at some point she's gonna bring that up. She's gonna, talk to Alicent about that, maybe even use it against her. Again, I don't know where the story is going to go overall, because they change a lot of stuff from the books, and that's the one thing that I'm always constantly aware of. When I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this makes sense, they're going in this direction, okay, they're doing this, but then sometimes there will be little changes here and there, and they'll introduce storylines, a little bit sooner than, you're expecting, and that is all connected with Otto High Tower. And Aegon, like I said, was very upset, just wanted revenge. That was literally his story this episode, was he wants revenge. And so the plan that the council came up with was that, we're going to have Harris, I guess, out there, and Alicent and Helena are going to be, I guess, on this carriage, and we're going to go through King's Landing, through this funeral walk or whatever, and everyone is going to see what Rhaenyra did. And this is going to be something, you know, that we can do to gain sympathy from everyone in King's Landing. And so everyone is going to, you know, look at Rhaenyra as the bad person. And, you know, a lot of this was from Otto High Tower, and I think that was right. Like, again, for me personally, I'm not a fan of the High Tower family just because they just kind of took over, right? Like Otto High Tower especially. Like, he planned a lot of this stuff like years and years ago, and all of this has started because of that. I mean, there's also the argument that this is how sort of a lot of families in Westeros, you know, that's just what they do. But that part to it, I will say, it still does bother me. But Otto is a very smart person. Doing something like this is just something that you kind of have to get through. I know Queen Helena looked so destroyed. Like, she just, you know, she didn't want to be there. She did not want to be there at all. They were all so uncomfortable, you know, and they just wanted to be left alone. You know, I think like Queen Helena just wanted to be left alone to grieve. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Blood or Cheese, but yeah, one of them, first of all, they both died in this episode, so that whole storyline is done. But one of them confesses that he was hired by Daemon Targaryen. And so Aegon kills, again, one of Blood or Cheese. Rhaenyra, though, does learn of Jaehaerys' death, and she's very shocked about this. And I think that's the one thing in all of this that I'm really looking forward to seeing how they explore this season. Like, Rhaenyra is obviously shocked and didn't want this to happen. Like, she doesn't want Jaehaerys to die. And Alicent, you know, didn't want Lucerys to die, right? Like Rhaenyra's son. And so now you're both in a place where it's like, all right, we both lost people that we really, like, we didn't want to cause any of this here. But now certain people want revenge, and it's going to be, how do we manage all of this stuff? Because you have Daemon, who's out there, and like, who knows what he's going to start. And then now you have King Aegon II, who, you know, Sir Criston Cole is now the hand of the king. There's going to be a lot of bad decisions there, especially if Otto's not going to be there anymore, because it seems like he's leaving King's Landing. So what's happening next? Like, King's Landing right now, that place is not going to be run properly. And if you've read the books, when Otto High Tower, we'll get to that moment, but when he does say, you will regret this, he's going to regret this. Like, Aegon II is going to regret this. So, but Rhaenyra is very shocked by this, and she's like, no, I wanted Aemond, you know, not Jaehaerys. And so she goes and questions Daemon. Daemon's like, hey, I said Aemond, not the boy. And he's really trying to just like prove to her that, like, no, I'm not like this. I know you think I'm a certain way. Everyone thinks that I have it out for this person or whatever, but I would never do that. You said you wanted Aemond, and that is exactly what I said. This was all just a complete misunderstanding here. And Rhaenyra, you know, she's worried right now that she hurt her own claim to the Iron Throne, because you are going to have other houses now that hear what she did and be like, I don't know if I want to support her claim and whatnot. And I will say that's the one thing that I hope they get into in the next couple of episodes, is I want to see other houses and how they feel about all of this. In Game of Thrones, we got to that, I don't want to say immediately, like it did take some time, but I do want to see certain characters traveling to different places, like different houses, and just see who they side with overall. Because right now it's a lot of just like, oh, this person here spoke here. Like, yes, we saw, you know, Winterfell, or we saw the Wall, I guess. So there is that, but like, I want to see a lot more of that. You know, I want to see people actually like going there for a dinner and just having a whole storyline here with certain houses and all that, and trying to get that support. I like the line though where Rhaenyra is like, have you used me as a tool to grasp at your stolen inheritance? And something like that. Anyways, I'm paraphrasing, but Daemon got so mad about that. He flipped the table. Daemon just wasn't having it. Like, he was like, I'm not that kind of a person. I know how people view me. I know how people have thought of me. And Daemon was even saying, like, you know, my brother, he was scared of me. And Rhaenyra's like, no, he was not scared of you. He couldn't trust you. That's all. And yeah, Rhaenyra breaks down and says, you killed that boy. And he's like, no, it was a mistake. And basically, Daemon is just really mad and angry, leaves on his dragon. I will say, just the cinematography in that scene and everything, really amazing. We do see Sir Criston Cole and Sir Alec, and I will say I'm not a fan of Sir Criston Cole just in general. Like, Sir Criston Cole, just as a character, I'm just, man, like, I don't like how he got to be in the position of power he's in, and just in general, the stuff that he's putting people through, you know, he's to blame for a lot of this stuff, and he takes it out on Sir Alec and sort of caused what happened at the very end of the episode. And I thought immediately, I was like, well, there's no way they're putting down Rhaenyra, so this is a plot for something that could happen later on, but it happens right away. We actually pick up with Aemon Targaryen. It was just a really short scene, but he knows that Daemon wants him, and he's just kind of dealing with that right now. And man, you just really look at, you know, the Targaryen family right now, and they're all really just kind of messed up right now. They're all just going through their own issues, and Aemond here, he's going through a bunch of stuff, and I just feel like they have to be closer as a family, just somehow, but like, they're just not. That's just not in that family to do that. Aegon actually ordered all of the rat catchers to die, because we did learn that it was a rat catcher that that got in, and he ordered all of them to die. And this was like the start of, Otto being like, okay, like you can't do this. We just built up all of this, sort of, I guess, good vibes and all of that from King's Landing, and everyone is feeling bad for us. And now you go and do this. We're going to have people losing, people in their family. Like there's a lot of innocent people there that you just killed. And he's like, yeah, well, at least one guilty person, right? Yeah, but you did so much worse here. What you did is so much worse than what Blood and Cheese just did. And Otto High Tower is very upset about this. Aegon ordered all of their deaths, and this is going to look really bad on the king, just really bad just for King's Landing in general here. And so Sir Criston Cole, he sends Sir Eric to actually go and kill Rhaenyra. Otto's stressed out about this because he finds out about all that, and he's just like, how do you think this is going to go? Like, this is going to be really, really bad. And Aegon, first of all, he says, you're nothing like your father, which I love that line there because, again, I disagree with Otto High Tower. Like, I'm not really... I don't want him to have the throne. I don't want that family to have the throne because they really just fought their way in there. And I'm like, I don't know, But he's a very smart person, I would say. You should listen to him. And Aegon is like, no, I'm not going to do that. And actually strips him of being Hand of the King. And so now Sir Criston Cole will take that. And all this does happen in the books, by the way. Like, it does happen basically in this way, but to me, this seems really fast. Like, I don't know if they're going through stuff very fast, if they've moved things around here a little bit. For those that have, like, recently read the books, again, it's been a couple years since I've actually read the whole thing. I remember the whole story, but I thought that this would happen. Like, I knew this was going to happen this season. I thought, though, like, maybe episode 4 or 5. And Otto says, you will regret this. And, oh, he's so right about that. He's going to really regret this because what you just did was sending Sir Alec there, how Rhaenyra is going to respond. And again, I still have a prediction that this season is going to end with Rhaenyra taking over the Iron Throne. Otto High Tower should die. Like, when he comes back, he should actually die. And then I think, I guess I won't get into it more than that, but I do think that's exactly where they're going here. So that was a really bad decision there from Aegon, and we'll see why this season. But Sir Alec actually makes his way to Dragonstone, and very intense scene. He actually gets in. I was wondering if he was going to get in. I was like, I see, that he's kind of like dodging his brother. He's, he's hiding here and there. And he actually makes his way to Rhaenyra's room. And yeah, he's there. And immediately, like, I was wondering how it was going to go down. Because, like, there's no way he's just going to pull out his sword and just say, like, oh, like, you're done now. Because he, that he was going to die. Like, if he did that, he was going to die. But he went and did that. And luckily, his brother was there, and we actually had brother versus brother. And I was just like, okay, this is actually happening right now. Rhaenyra is going to be so upset about this once they actually try to figure out like who did all of this. I mean, obviously they know who did it, but it's gonna, like, again, Rhaenyra feeling bad about what happened with Jaehaerys. She's going to see this attack being ordered by King Aegon or like Alicent and be like, wow, you actually tried to kill me? So this is going to get really, really bad here. And we do see Otto and Alicent talking. Otto wants to go back to Old Town, but Alicent's like, no, I think we need the Tyrell's help. I believe she is what she said. And she wants him to go to Highgarden. So we'll see if that's where, he goes. And that's where, for me anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun because then we start to learn a lot of the houses in Westeros and exactly the allegiances that they have, right? So it's going to be really fun to actually see that play out at some point in episode 3, 4, 5 or whatever. But then we get to the final scene of the episode and Alicent sees her son in pain. And I personally can't believe she just walked away. And then just whatever happened after that, right? I really don't understand why she did that. And to me, this just tells me that this family's so broken. Like, if I saw my son in pain like that, I would not leave the room. There's no way. I need to help in any way that I can. And I just couldn't. Like, maybe that's, in her, just sort of the way that she deals with it. Like, I don't know. To me, that when I saw that, I was like, what? This family is so doomed. They're so broken right now. And I just really feel for, especially King Aegon. Because, like, in episode 1, he was trying to find out who he was going to be as king. And all of this was started because of Otto and Alicent. Like, that's the thing, too, is like, even though they're the smart people in all of this here, especially Otto High Tower, because he sort of started all of this from the beginning, everyone's going through pain right now because of what they started. Like, they knew not allowing Rhaenyra to have the throne as Viserys wanted was going to cause all of this. And so, yeah, that was episode 2. But yeah, really great episode overall. I'm really happy to see all of their reactions to, what happened at the end of episode 1. And I thought this was a really good, like, reaction episode to that. They furthered a lot of the story. And they really did get into that whole, like, Larys Strong and Aegon Targaryen. Like, you're the king now. Like, is this how you want to lead? Otto was your father's Hand of the King. Like, you should lead your way, basically. And we saw a lot of that here. Again, I thought it was going to be something that would play out over the season, but it happened here. That was sort of the story of this episode, and I do like the way they tell stories in that sense. Like, they make it where there's a beginning and an end, and there's some setup beforehand, so I'm excited for episode 3. I really can't wait. And yeah, I'll do some videos on episode 3 talking about just like, I'll break down the trailer and all that and just kind of see like, oh, this is where the story's probably going to go, give some episode 3 predictions and all that. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my House of the Dragon content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.